We once was silent, now we wanna talk. We weren't the only ones up and down from the block. While y'all were running, we chose to walk. So welcome to another episode of Artist Block. Community, culture, creativity, it's all happening. My name is Imaad and this is episode 1 of Artist Block. Allow me to introduce our co-host for today. He's a former soccer player, a BCS student, and now a rugby extraordinaire. Claude Wellington, say hello.
Hello everybody, how's it going?
All right, so today's podcast, we're going to be talking more about why we started this podcast, all the logistics of it, so how you guys can come on, even request some topics, and then we'll get into some other topics that we're going to be talking about today. So first of all, I want to talk about why I made this podcast. I made this podcast so that students could have a platform, students from not just our school, BCSS, or just students from Peel, Ontario, Canada, North America, as broad as we can possibly go. And we are going to talk about issues that affect us as students, but we're also going to talk about some fun topics in pop culture or just stuff that's going on in the world. So if you want to request some topics or if you want to come up here and be part of this entire process, make sure to either DM us on Instagram or Twitter and follow up at artistblockpod or email us at artistblockpod@gmail.com. So obviously I have to ask you, Claude, why'd you join?
Well, I really enjoyed the aspect and the idea you had, and I would definitely want to support. So I decided to come on because mainly it's intriguing to me. I would like to see and hear other people's opinions as well as state my own.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so we're going to talk about our first topic, which is obviously a look back at 2017. It is the new year. It's the first week. So obviously I got to ask you, what's your favorite moment?
Well, I would say Eminem's shot at Donald Trump, I guess you could say.
That was awesome, man. No joke.
Like
honestly,
blew up.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if his album was as good as the Cypher. Like, that would have been intense.
Deep stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite moment's got to be, I'm torn between either the Joe Budden Migos interview, because that was probably one of the funniest things that ever happened to humanity. Either that or, I don't know, the Donald Trump inauguration. Because I've never seen a huge amount of Americans protest against their president when he just got inaugurated and they just voted for him.
I find that interesting as well.
Exactly. So moving on to some music. His favorite song of 2017.
Of 2017. A little bit torn. NF's Let You Down and NF's Face It. Well, that was from an older album of his, but yeah, Let You Down was a banger off of NF. I recommend you guys check him out.
Did you hear Joyner Lucas's I'm Not Racist?
Actually, no.
Dude, it was crazy. That was definitely going to be my best song, probably my favorite song of that year. It released around November, December, but it's basically there's a black guy and there's a white guy, and then they're each rapping about their thoughts on the other race. And it's crazy because Joyner Lucas, I've never really heard of him up until that point. I'm sure you haven't either. And
not until just now, actually.
Exactly. So then he had a Gucci Gang freestyle where he went on that beat and freestyled for 3 minutes and absolutely killed Lil Pump.
Damn.
And then he made I'm Not Racist, and it's the most intense, conceptual, conscious song ever.
Well, hopefully you have the links. Hopefully in.
Yeah, no problem, man. Favorite artist of 2017? What do you think?
Artist. Oh man, 2017. I'm a little bit torn. Martin Garrix released some.
Martin Garrix, that's a good one.
He released some bangers. Forever. I believe he did a collab with BB Rexa and Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Did you always listen to Martin Garrix?
Yes.
Yo, I swear, every single time that I talk to you, it's you have a different music genre preference.
It's because I don't know. I try and listen to every genre or try out shout out to Jonathan Butcher. He listens to country. If he can bless me some good country songs, hey, I'll give it a try. But I'm not a big
That's
fan.
Respect, because I know a lot of people who will literally stick to one genre, and then each time that they even try another, they'll just go insane.
Yeah. They don't like it. But I try. I can adapt to things. I don't know if that's why, but I try to listen to it. So a little bit of electro here, a little bit of rap here. We got the Eminem, we got NF. Well, NF's actually more of a hip hop artist. Shout out to NF.
Awesome. So in terms of New Year's resolutions, do you have one?
Nope.
Do you ever feel here's my small rants on New Year's resolutions. I feel what the media has done to us is they killed that trend of making them and then instead made a trend of not making them. Did you ever see on CP24, CBC, they literally
Global
say
News.
within seconds, hey guys, 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. Why would you tell me that? I just made one. Do you still think I'm gonna follow through with it?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. They kind of discourage to actually make them and to follow
Exactly.
through with them. Like now that you know the statistics, check the statistics. Shout out to Wolfie Raps. Um, yeah, I guess you wouldn't really want to follow through. The commitment nowadays isn't there.
Yeah. Like I was on YouTube, I was just watching some random YouTuber, and then he was talking about New Year's resolutions. He's like, "Yeah, I don't really have one, and I know a bunch of yours might just fail as well." Why would you even tell me that? Like that's the number one way to get me to stop even trying. Yeah. But
Killing the dream.
oh, yeah. So like overall when it comes to like 2017, what were your last thoughts? Final thoughts on 2017?
2017 was a very interesting year, I guess you could say. Donald Trump president now. What are we gonna do? Us Canadians are affected by this. We're all the way in Canada, and we're talking about this. It's all over the news. All you hear is protests. All you hear is stuff about that what happened in Israel and Jerusalem, that conflict going on there. It's like
Did
a
you hear on the
global
news
problem.
that like this is the first time in 40 years that a president didn't visit Canada in his first year?
Wow, I actually didn't know that.
That's crazy. Like why would you First of all, why would you not? What do you have against it? We
I know
didn't
we're
know.
like brothers, I guess you could say. 'Cause
Exactly. And it's
with
like
all the links
you
and
would
whatnot.
never you would never visit your family in a whole year.
You supply
it's-
them with everything, you know.
Yeah, you know, just, he can stay there. Okay, he's all good. You can enjoy the White House. Barack Obama, if you want to come back up here, we're all good, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Yeah. So that kind of my final thoughts in 2017. I think overall it was a great year for culture, music, especially hip hop, making the number one listened to genre in the U.S., which is awesome.
Yeah, hip hop is on the rise again with people coming back.
Exactly, and if even if you notice, international music kind of got recognized this year. I know BTS, K-pop band, huge. I was so distant from K-pop because I was like, if I start listening, I don't know what I'll be able to listen to again. And damn, those guys are sick.
Well, I'm not gonna judge anybody. I don't really listen to K-pop myself, but hey, man, send me a link. I'll give it a try. Maybe we'll have it in the bio so you guys can listen to it as well.
Yeah, it's like even BTS itself, it's like even if you hate dubstep or even if you hate EDM or dance music, if you just see the way that these guys dance, it's pretty freaking incredible. But yeah, I mean that was my last thoughts on 2017. I think it was a great year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think one for the history books, definitely.
Yeah. No Artist Block podcast though. That's for 2018. So we're gonna move on to our next topic. Go ahead, Claude. Logan Paul.
Well, yeah. So recently, Logan Paul made a video. When he went to Japan, I believe, and in the suicide forest, it was called. He found a dead body hanging there, and him and his friends were joking around, laughing. It was basically disrespecting all the people who have died there. Not only that guy in particular, and he still managed to make that video on the trending page of YouTube. So in my personal opinion, I find that really, really sad because how can you promote? And now he's trying to cover it up and say he's trying to promote preventing suicide, but showing a dead body and then laughing about it. And he was like on the tree hanging himself, so you obviously know it was suicide. And so now he has two apologies. His first one was basically a glorify. He's like, "Oh, I get views, I make views," like a humble brag, if you could say. And he tried to apologize, but that didn't work out. He decided to make a video. But that as well has some backlash because he is an actor. How do we know that is a sincere apology?
Yeah. Do you think the whole thing about like him actually caring about suicide and mental illness victims, do you think that's serious?
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, like when it comes to Jake Paul, Logan and Jake Paul. I mean, we don't really know what is real to them. Like I actually started watching Logan Paul just to see what this guy makes, and it's like if you look at him, this guy's a sociopath. Like if you see some of his videos, this guy will take a motorcycle, get a guy on it, not even himself, and then ram straight into a wall just for the views.
I want to say it's because they have the money, but then they try and cover all these stuff up with all the publicity stunts, pardon me. They were trying to, like Jake went down when all the hurricanes and there was floods, and he tried helping them out to say how he's a good person. But then you would see all over the news when he's doing something silly. He got fired from Disney. He got into a heap of trouble. He also is trying to take shots at different YouTubers since he's growing so much.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, up until recently, I thought was pretty okay. I don't really watch him, but compared to his brother,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like we always saw Logan Paul as to be like the better brother, or like the one that I don't know we could trust more, the one that was more normal. But like after this video, like you look at him and it's like, damn, this guy's literally a psychopath. But it's like, imagine if some other YouTuber did that exact video. I feel like there was a better way that he could have done it. First of all,
apology.
no, not the apology, like the actual video itself. I think going to the suicide forest in and itself is a pretty traumatic experience. But I feel like you could have documented, like, I remember PewDiePie said it about it in his video, and it's like he could have just cut that part out. That's not important.
He still went home and edited. He still made the thumbnail, the tag, the title of the video.
That annoys me even more. The thumbnail. How are you gonna like just show yourself looking at the dead body with a crazy reaction? And it's like, I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the people around him. You know, it might even be that. Like, he might even have a manager who told him to be like, hey, go. Otherwise, you won't get views.
Well, do you think that it's a fault on YouTube as well? Because YouTube didn't take it down. He did. And
Yeah, I mean,
other videos have
that's
been
another-
demonetized when you just have the word like kill, or you have COD in the name of the title, like Call of Duty. So if you guys don't know, you know, the game. And they would demonetize those videos, get striked and everything. And if you tried, apparently some people tried re-uploading the video and they were strike taken down.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
I mean, do you remember Casey Neistat's Las Vegas video?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. He made a video about the Las Vegas shooting, and he set up a GoFundMe to help these families. And that video got not only demonetized, but taken down. And Logan Paul's video on him going to a Japanese suicide forest and laughing about it, that was even worse. I understand, you know, like life is hard. Like sometimes you're going to have those moments where you just don't know how to react. And a lot of times laughing is that weird reaction. I remember it happened in our civics class, right?
Yeah.
With the same thing. People don't have the right way to react to it. But I feel like that the difference between him and our civics class, he looked over. You know, if I know for a fact that he must either look at his videos at the very end or edit them in some way, shape, or form. He could have looked at that and been like, nah. But he still went through with it.
Do you think that was just for the views?
I don't know. Because, like, I think what he said in his original, like, apology with the one on Twitter, how he was like, I don't need it for views. I get views. That's true. But don't you need more? I feel like, imagine if he did that video in a very serious manner, went to the suicide forest and actually increased, like, knowledge or presence or acknowledgement of suicide and mental illness.
Yeah, it would have been different.
It would have been much different. We
he
would have
could've
looked at
set
him
up-
as like a saint.
Yeah, it would have been different.
Yeah, and like any other YouTuber, I feel like they should do that. You know, I feel like that's something that's not really talked about either in, you know, podcasts or YouTube or music. And I think it's something that they could have talked about. And the fact that that started off his 2018 year, I don't think this is going to be a good year for Logan Paul. And I mean, not saying that like last year was much better, but like those two really had a huge amount of fandom in that 1 year, just off of 2 diss tracks that went back and forth by them.
Yep.
And
Vine.
And
Well, Rip
Vine as well. That's crazy. I mean, imagine if Vine 2 came out.
Well,
Yeah, that's another
apparently,
topic.
yeah. Apparently, they're trying to make it. But what do you think now that this video? Do you think parents would finally try and look at what their children are watching? Because Logan and Jake, they have big fan base of maybe a good couple thousand million. Maybe their whole YouTube channel is just kids and we're talking about from ages 5 to about 10, 13 max, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's great. Like, I agree with that. I think parents themselves got to realize that although YouTube is a great place, I mean, we were talking about it in like one of our classes too. Do you think there should be an internet police? I think there should be an internet police, but there needs to be very specific laws towards the internet itself. I mean, if you look at it, even if you're a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, you know how it always tells you to ask for permission?
Yeah.
And tell your exact age?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do it?
No, because that's where the problem comes in with age restrictions and whatnot. The kids would find a way. I know some smart kids who would lie their age, find a different way, maybe use a parent account or something like that, just to watch these inappropriate or not age appropriate videos.
Yeah. Do you even feel like some of the age restrictions on these websites are pretty intense? Like, okay, you're 15, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's like, I don't know, it was like up until you're 14, you still can't go on Instagram.
That's true.
What do what do you think is the minimum age?
Well, it really depends. What are they going to do with this account? If they can take this account and be maybe an inspirational, I guess you could say like a mentor. I don't know. I know some pretty smart young kids who would be able to spread some knowledge, spread some joy. But if you're going to take that account and do some horrible stuff, post some inappropriate things, look at inappropriate things.
But then how is it social media going to be able to regulate that? How do you find that out?
That I would have to agree. There has to be some way to monitor, but not limit the creativity of individuals.
That's a banger right there. Not monitor, but not limit creativity of individuals. It's very true. Like, I noticed even YouTube, I think you still have to be like 16, 17 to get on it. And it's like, well, I'm on YouTube. I've made YouTube videos, and I've seen very young kids go on YouTube. And it's like, you can find a lot of cool stuff there. Like, I learned everything about everything off of YouTube. Like, I learned, I don't know, things like technology and like overall, like all my technological knowledge. I got it all from YouTube. And there has got to be a way in which there's an external source that is governing all of the internet.
But do you think with this in place, you'll be taking away the rights, you could say, of the internet to people? Or I want to say like their thinking process. Because if you filter everything that you shouldn't know at this age, would it be beneficial if you could learn something beforehand? That way you don't go out and do such a thing, how to protect. So like example, if you have a computer, right, and let's say you're 10 and you know what a virus is, and you don't know how to stop or prevent a virus, you could have went on YouTube and search, protection, or look for a protection plan, search on the interweb. But if there's a restriction on age, you're 10, you can't go on this site, you can't go on that side, how would you know what to do? And if your
then
parents,
isn't that up to the parents themselves to be able to solve those kind of issues?
Yeah, I guess it goes back to the parents.
Because like, you could even search on YouTube right now how to do something, and it could actually be a virus in itself. And then you'll try and find a solution to that virus, and then that solution to that virus is the virus in itself. That's happened to me so many times. I've actually wrecked computers as a kid. Like, I started using computers like when I was like 4 years old, and since then I have
in the works.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been doing computers for so long, and all that stuff that I learned was all just trial and error. So I think even if you saw that suicide, I mean, luckily that got taken down pretty. Did you get a chance to actually see it?
I myself haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. Like, I just saw reactions to it, and I was like, can you imagine if a 6-year-old actually just saw a dead body on a YouTube video?
So do you think maybe the kids themselves would realize, okay, this isn't good for me to watch, or he's not a good influence on me?
Well, did you know about that as a 5-year-old?
5-year-old, I wouldn't be worrying about some guy named Jake Paul on the internet. Be watching like the real stuff, you know, straight from TV.
Define the real stuff.
Well, my childhood consisted of watching like Ben 10. I don't know, shout out. We have Teen Titans, all those real.
But I mean, TV itself is dying. I know there's parents that are just cutting the cord.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes
now
to
they
cable.
Don't have cable, yeah.
Yeah, like I still have cable, and I'm surprised that we even have it, because it's like we watch 2 things: Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And it's like, what else would you watch? And I think, you know, like, I actually want to talk about that as well. Yeah, like I want to talk about. Just keep naming Treehouse.
Treehouse was a good up until recently. Now they're putting out some, I want to say, interesting things, but Treehouse used to put out some really good, even inspirational to some.
What's
things.
The alternative if you don't do Treehouse?
We have TVO Kids. They were
Kids,
very educational.
Oh my god, that was like one of my favorite stations of all time, and I think more kids should have watched that back in the day.
Yep.
Because damn, I learned so much from TVO Kids than I've ever learned in my entire life.
Sesame Street, learning how to count with that vampire guy. He was a legend. He used to teach you how to count in a fun way.
I remember there was like, oh man, there was one show on Treehouse where like they do exercise and stuff on the TV.
Role play?
Yes.
I wasn't a big fan of that show.
Yeah, exactly.
I really did like that show.
And it's like, that got kids to get up and move around in a time where kids don't want to get up and move around. And I mean, I like when it comes to imagine, you switch that to YouTube, and I can't like I've been with kids and I've seen what they search up, and it's like, damn, you watch the same stuff that I do. Should you really be watching that? Like, for example, let's take the biggest YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie. Would you recommend that to an 8-year-old?
No, sir.
To an 11-year-old?
It depends on their maturity level
Yeah.
as well. You have to take that into account because if they're mature enough to know not go and do something like certain things you shouldn't go out and do. It's just for entertainment. You shouldn't go out and because you see a guy killing someone in the TV show. You shouldn't go out and just kill someone because you don't like them.
Yeah, that comes up to the GTA issue.
Yeah, GTA the game. Some places want to ban the game, but it's not bad if you know how to moderate and if you yourself as the kid know, okay, it's not right for me to do these things in real life, but I guess in this game you can do it. But some kids would think, oh, if I can do it here, why can't I do it there? And they would go out
Too.
and try to do it. Apparently, a kid was so obsessed with a show that he went and killed himself over it. It was really sad and it wasn't as popular as it should have been. But I guess it's not something you want to publicize because it was like a death. But he was so attached to this show, this character who died in the show,
Yeah.
that he wanted to kill himself. I don't remember the show, to be honest, but
That's crazy, yo. Like, I mean, like, how do you measure maturity? That's subjective. That's not really objective. Like, I mean, when it comes to maturity, you just think of stuff like what? Responsibility, respectfulness, and all that. And I don't know. Overall, like, when it comes to YouTube and TV, I think there should be a governing body, but I don't know how they would work. Because you can't measure things like that. I know me at 11, sure, yeah, you could have showed me GTA. I would have been fine. And I played GTA at like 8, 7, 6. But if you showed, I don't know, my best friend at the same time, I don't know what they would have done. So that's kind of wrapping up our entire... Man, we started at what? Logan Paul suicide video?
yeah. I actually have one more thing. I want to really hear a debate or like what you have to say. Do you think that video could have been defended in any way? Because I've seen at least two people who have tried to defend Logan Paul. We have Tanner, I don't know this white guy's name, Tanner something. He's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Search him up. I don't know, Tanner something. And another Merrick, who is basically bought Logan's Paul merch and part of the Logan. Yeah, Merrick, whatever that is. And so he believes that it's just Jake Paul, it's just Logan Paul.
Yeah.
He's okay, he's all right, and he's defending him. And then Tanner is saying how, if another YouTuber did that, they would brush over it in no time. Like he thinks that it'll brush over in no time. That's what Tanner thinks, and he's trying to defend him.
Honestly, like, I don't even not disagree with that, if that makes any sense. I feel like, imagine if a YouTuber who's regarded, like, I always go to, like, Casey Neistat as my go-to, but imagine if Casey Neistat did that exact video, and if he did the apology that was very similar, I feel like it would have been fine. And that's when it comes to, like, I don't know, like, the fact that Logan Paul did it definitely, affects our perspective because we know the Jake Paul, Logan Paul, we know them as the villain brothers that came from Vine. And we're always going to try to find ways to antagonize them. And that's even when it comes to like Trump and all that. Like we always want to find ways to hit people that we don't like and then praise people that we do like. And I don't know. Like I feel like Casey Neistat, if he did the exact same thing, there would be some backlash, but not as much as there was for Logan Paul. Like I was on YouTube just this morning and I saw at least 50,000 videos reacting to his thing. Now that's actually a better question. Do you think all those YouTubers wanted the views based off of Logan Paul's videos?
Most reaction channels are for the views, or they really don't have anything for them to really put out. But some YouTubers just do it to poke fun at that, like, I guess you could say genre.
And then where do you
group.
draw the line? How do you know what is sincere? How do you know what is not? Like, I watched, Boogie2806. I watched his video. I watched PewDiePie's video. And I'm like, these seem sincere, but I think it might just be because they're big YouTubers. I don't really personally watch reaction channels, nor do I know a lot of them. But I'll see those as well. And I'm like, do I know if your reaction is good? If that's what you're doing all the time. But I mean, even PewDiePie's made a video on Jake Paul and Logan Paul. But I think, regardless of whether or not it's for the views or not, I don't care about that. Because as a creator myself, You want the views. Like that's what gets you far. But it's what you're doing for it. And even if it's sincere or not, as long as it's in good heart, it's fine. Because you're doing, this is pretty extreme, but like if you're gonna do a video on racism and talking about racism, if you talk about all the good things about racism, then yeah, you're doing it for the views, just to be a racist. But I don't feel like that should be allowed. I think instead you should have the ability to be like, shed light on that topic in a better way so that both sides are understood, and so that your opinion is good-hearted, or whatever, and then you have that, and then you'll get views off of that too. Like you look at what was that? There was like the racist girl from Brampton, who was like talking about. She's like, "Oh my God, all these people from Brampton are so like this is just a bunch of Indian people."
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And it's like, well, you could have just been like, racism is an issue. Would that get more views? No. She got more views for being a racist. Do you remember the girl? I think it was like 2 years ago. She said Hitler did no wrong. And I'm not even going to lie. This is a pretty intense opinion. But she had good points. But just because she said an opinion, she just got a bunch of views for like no reason at all, just because she said this one opinion. Like, how are you going to get views off an opinion? Like that's my issue with like a lot of these creators now. It's like, if you're just going to have an opinion, find ways to make that opinion interesting. Right? And make a podcast, make a YouTube channel.
So do you want clickbait then? Clickbait titles, clickbait videos, and all that. It's to make it more interesting, to grab the attention of the user. To say, "Oh, I just went to Suicide Forest," compared to, "I saw a dead guy on a tree in Suicide Forest." Which would have grabbed your attention more?
Yeah, I saw a dead guy in the Suicide Forest.
Exactly.
And it's like,
sometimes they do that, and it's not even part of the video. Sometimes, for example, you're just walking down the street. "Oh, I walked down the street and there was ... just to make you to come watch the video. The ... could just be, "Oh, I saw somebody playing ball over there," or "I saw somebody kicking a soccer ball." Sometimes it's actual like real clickbait. "Oh, I saw someone breaking into a car," but really it was actually that person's car, and maybe they forgot their keys inside and they were just trying to get in a suspicious way.
Yeah. You ever heard the expression, don't stand too close to an elephant? Like, so basically, if you have an elephant in front of you, and, you're looking straight at it, like, a couple centimeters away, you have no idea that it's an elephant. You just see gray. But as you step further and further back, you're like, "Oh, shit, that's an elephant." And it's like...
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know where I heard it from. I heard it from, like... Pretty sure I heard it from some YouTuber. But, like, overall, when it comes to YouTube, I mean, the Logan Paul suicide video, I'm glad that it's been taken down. I hope that we're kind of grazed over it, because I don't like it when the internet has to go on a topic for a total amount of, like, 2 months just because they need something to react to. But, I mean, yeah, good or bad start to 2017 for Logan Paul. Yeah. So, thoughts?
All right, so the next topic we have here, it happened a little bit, actually it happened in 2017, a while back, that Disney and Fox actually reached a deal, and the deal was about Disney bought most of Fox for $54.2 billion.
How much is Bill Gates worth? Like 86 billion?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah. So
it's like almost
that's almost Bill
Gates.
Gates. So they now have the rights to the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and a few other.
Disney has rights to that?
Yeah, Disney has it right. So there was also a debate now. Do you think that they would keep Deadpool as a rated R, or they would, since it's Disney, they'll try and, I don't know, put a 13 rated plus?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The second that you told me, like we were talking about in pre-production, was that if Deadpool is being taken, dude, that changes everything. Like, I love Deadpool, and I think Deadpool showed so much to a larger audience that Disney and all movies have not been catering to for a while.
Okay, so what if I say that they reached an agreement to keep Deadpool at a rated R?
I mean, the thing is, my opinion on Disney is, so far, every single movie that has been owned by Disney, so like Marvel, everything from Marvel, and the new Star Wars as well, they're not up to par.
How so?
I didn't get a chance to watch Star Wars. Like, I'm basing all this off of public opinion. Yeah, like critics and all that. But I have seen a bunch of the Marvel movies coming up. Like I love Doctor Strange. This is after the Disney Marvel bought Marvel. And as much as I love Doctor Strange, you could tell that there was an essence of Disney in it, because it's just like certain points in the movie where like he could have said this, but because it's Disney, he said this. This could have happened, but because it's Disney, this happened.
But not everyone's as critical or reads behind the lines as you. I think I know some people who would love Doctor Strange over, I would say, Guardians of the Galaxy. Though, hey, that's not my opinion. I'm just saying. I know some people who say that.
Wait, wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy after Disney?
No, it was before, I believe.
Yeah, you could tell. And you can, like you know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell which one is Disney and which one is not, if you understand it. But I mean, at the same time, I don't really care who does it. I just want it to be a movie that makes sense and a movie that is entertaining for a larger audience. I mean, I think nowadays, movies themselves are becoming YouTube videos. It's more about the trailer and about the starting than the actual movie itself. Did you see Fast and Furious? The new one?
Yeah, Fast 8?
Fast 8, yeah. Furious. And it's like, me and my brother were watching it. Well, my brother and I were watching it in the theater. Yeah. And we just started laughing at all these explosions. And it's like, who are you catering to? If you think about it, Fast and Furious demographic shouldn't be kids under 12.
True.
It should be like 14 to 22-ish.
True.
And I understand, you want all that cool special effects. I get that. Okay, that looks cool. I like the CGI. But if you're going to bring down the quality of the movie itself just to have all of that, what's the point?
So, okay, so you said you could tell the difference when it's Disney and like a non-Disney movie. Yeah. So if you take, let's see, Batman versus Superman, and we take one Marvel, let's see, the Avengers.
The Civil War?
Yeah, let's go with Civil War, yeah.
Iron Man versus Captain America?
Yeah, basically the same thing. So there's more hate for Batman v Superman compared to Civil War. What do you think then?
Civil War Disney?
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, you got me there, man. Like, yeah, I mean, Batman versus Superman, man, that movie was garbage. But I think that might have just been the fact that DC itself is dying.
How many times? Movie-wise, comic-wise, they're doing pretty well. DC fanboy, bro.
Really? Wait, Marvel versus DC? You pick DC?
It really depends. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, like, so Spider-Man versus Batman.
Movie-wise, obviously Marvel. Yeah. But the comics that DC has been pumping out is actually good.
But DC still pumps out comics?
Yes. They bring in big guns. We apparently got a few writers from Marvel, apparently. So now I think DC should just chill with the movies for a bit until they get
where are they making more money? Movies.
Well, if the movies flop, how would they make the money?
Well, when it comes to flop, I don't even care. Well, flop, they say flop when it comes to like after the movie has already made $73 million and everybody just hates it. Well, so what if everybody hates it? You still got the check.
I guess so.
And I mean, are comics still going?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that, but it depends how you're weighing DC versus Marvel. Yeah. Because myself, I'm on the fence. I like both of them. I don't know why there's a hate between them. I think as long as DC could get maybe a proper director, a proper story writer, everything will fall into place the way soon it would be able to actually have a proper competition. Right now, I wouldn't even say DC versus Marvel in movies because DC's obviously crunching the game. They already said that Black Panther is going to make more than Justice League. It's kind of confirmed now. Like, it's basically confirmed.
When is Black Panther coming out?
February 16th, I believe.
I'm so hyped for that.
It's already the trailer alone. Everyone believes that Black Panther will obviously beat Justice League in the box office.
I think Black Panther is the best movie to come out just for the culture. I think it's been so long. I don't think I've ever seen a black superhero in this longest time.
Agreed.
And I think it's great for the culture. I think it's great for the U.S. at this moment in time to have that kind of a movie. But I don't know if it's going to be Disney. It is Disney, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be Disney. Like, I swear if I hear some stuff that it's like Damn, Disney wrote that. I'm gonna be in it. Like, as much as I understand, it's the same people who work from Marvel before who work at Marvel now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference between movies and TV shows
Mm-hmm.
versus YouTube and creators on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Creators on the internet, for this, for example, for this podcast,
Yeah.
you and I are executive producers, writers, everything.
Mm-hmm.
No one else hears this before it goes out. It just
true.
gets uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
For them, you go to the writing process, you start at Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
From there, goes to your executive producer at Marvel. From there, it goes to your head of creative directing.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes to Disney, and then Disney looks over it and they can go, nah, take it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll change the entire script. And it's like, that's kind of insulting to the writer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As good as a writer, like as good as writers might be at Disney, Marvel's writers are writing for a reason. They're writing for their own storylines. And if you're just gonna come and destroy it just because you don't want that on your brand, I don't know. And do you think Disney will like lose money or kind of lose credibility
No.
if they release the R-rated movies?
They shouldn't. If anything, it might be more of like people want more like R-rated. Like if you could get maybe now that they have Wolverine and all the X-Men, and they can pull a nice R-rated like Logan. Wait, what's it Logan? No, not Logan.
Logan,
yeah, Logan. That movie was so good. Like it was a good way to end the X-Men. Not Wolverine.
The Wolverine trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was R-rated. That was Fox. That was Fox, right? That
Yeah.
was Fox. Yeah, and that turned out amazing. If you could do that with Disney, Disney will make like bare money.
Yeah.
They won't lose. There's no. It's like a win-win unless they do it like super poorly.
But I mean, I don't know. Does that hurt their brand? I don't really understand that.
I think it's mainly because Disney's supposed to look like the lighter tone compared to anything else, especially like DC is supposed to be darker, and then Marvel, Disney, everything is supposed to be light-hearted, easygoing, everything like that. So them trying to put an R, I think they feel like it's gonna hurt them in a way because they're supposed to portray as the nice, the good side.
Yeah. But do you think Disney can still make Mickey Mouse 43 and make Deadpool 2?
Really, it really depends on the story. Like you can have, I want to jump back to DC again because DC, you have so many characters you can touch on, but the story itself is what's bringing them down.
Yeah.
It's
I
either
think
too rushed, they try to force too many things. Same with Sony. The Spider-Man, in my opinion, all the Spider-Mans are pretty good. In my opinion, like the Amazing Spider-Man, I love that. But the thing is, they put too much in it. Like, you didn't need Electro, the Green Goblin, all of them in that movie at once. You could have done Electro in one movie. Green, you could have mapped out at least 3 movies from what they did in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Same with just Spider-Man 3, the I forget his name. When he was doing it before with Tobey Maguire.
yeah. Wait, was that the
Spider-Man
Black
3
Spider-Man one?
Yeah, the Spider-Man 3, they kind of pushed too much in it. They had Venom, they had Green Goblin again, they had Sandman. They could have taken things a little bit slow. I guess they were trying to lead up to the Sinister Six, but they still could have taken it a little bit slower, had a little bit more like backstory, I guess you could say, of the characters.
I think
and really developed.
Yeah, I mean, someone told me once that Marvel has better storylines, but DC has better characters.
Agreed. As you see, like that is facts.
Yeah. You
have to agree with that. Marvel knows how to tell a story. Knows how to tell the story. The way they have their writers write the story, and not only that, they write it in a way that you can continue from Iron Man, the first Iron Man, the starting of the MCU. They started a whole universe just from Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's just the way they have the movies written and checked over and everything. They can be able to pull in like Black Panther. It's gonna fit right in the way they have it crafted.
And
DC has the characters, but they don't have the writers, I guess you could say. They don't know how to write the stories. I've seen some people in the comments write better stories by themselves in the comments of like YouTube trailers.
Yeah.
Better than some of the movies that DC has put out.
Yeah. And I think even that goes back to like some of the original stories that DC had. I mean, I look at Batman's origin story, and it's like, is that really that interesting? Okay, his parents died. Yeah, so did everybody else's. But if you look at that versus Iron Man, a dude who, he was in like a cave and then he had to create some stuff out of metal. So he's an inventor, but at the same time he's a genius and all this stuff. That's great for stories. And that's what we all want to see. We don't care about your epic cool effects and your green arrow. Like, so what if you have 100 characters? What are you going to do with them?
Agreed.
And I think that's the issue with DC right now, is that they don't have as good storylines for all their characters. So now they have to do the same movie over and over. And I think that's a huge issue that I have with the film industry right now.
And it's a real setback.
Yeah. And I think the film industry itself right now is like hurting because of the fact that they are not progressing in the comic. Like, there's so many comics that you could have made a movie off of.
Yeah.
Yet you choose to go back to the same Tobey Maguire's Uncle Ben died.
Yeah, that's why Spider-Man Homecoming was a success. They skipped that whole Uncle Ben thing.
Exactly. That's why I loved it so much. I was like, thank God for not going over that again, because I already got the story in the first place. I've heard it so many times.
The first two.
Yeah.
You don't need it again. That's why I think Spider-Man Homecoming was a really good. Not only was the actors really good, they got like younger, everything. Because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they were pretty old. They were like, Tobey's like about to hit 40 something now. Andrew is about to hit 25.
Did Andrew Garfield leave Spider-Man?
Well, there was a bit of controversy over that because it was said he either left or he got fired. So some people are assuming like what happened to Jake Paul, he basically got fired. But Sony they had the idea. They were ready for the Amazing Spider-Man 3, the Amazing Spider-Man 4, and the Amazing Spider-Man 5. If you went and searched those up, there was dates for them. But something fell out in between Andrew Garfield and the producers and that stuff, and then the writing. I think the main setback was the backlash of the Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then there's still to this day I don't know what happened. I think Andrew Garfield left, or he wasn't there at a meeting or something, so they decided to fire him, and so that they were ready. They were ready to go. And if the Amazing Spider-Man 3 was rushed and everything, they had 3 characters there, so 4, 5, they were ready to add like Sinister Six. There was they were trying to copy like the post-credit scenes. You saw the tentacles for Dr. Octopus in this like lab. They were ready. They were setting it up. So if you could just write or find a way to tell the story, it would work.
Yeah. What is your opinion, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire?
Oh, that's actually hard. I like the quirkiness of Andrew Garfield, but Tobey Maguire's trilogy was well done. Even if 3 was rushed, it was well done.
I watched Amazing. Do you know D-Box? So for those of you that aren't around the Ontario area,
don't worry, I'm with you too. I'm not too clear on this. So don't feel bad.
D-Box is if you go to any Cineplex, so anything ever other than AMC, you know the seats that move with the movie?
Right, yeah.
The first D-Box movie that I saw was Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that movie so much only because of the D-Box. I mean, as much as the story was okay, and that's the biggest thing, that's the biggest issue that I have. Mm-hmm. If we go by the books and say that Marvel has better storylines, then stick with that.
Yeah.
If we go by the books and say DC has better characters, then stick with that. And what I mean by that is DC should just have 15 characters in one movie. It'd be fine because you guys have so many. Mm-hmm. And then Marvel should only have 2 because you guys have such good storylines that you can build on.
That's a valid point.
Exactly.
But you don't want to put too many characters in and then it's still rushed or it's still you don't get the backstory of this person. It had to be well-established characters.
That's my big thing. Okay, so the word rushed. When we say that, do you also acknowledge the fact that these companies have to make money in order to pay the people?
That's true.
And there's no other way that DC recording studios is going to make money other than recording.
That's true.
And it comes in film and it's in TV as well. If you tell a writer you have a deadline, I think it destroys their entire mindset and creativity. I think at that point, they won't even be able to write.
That's true.
Because I know, personally, I'm a recording artist. Album coming out January 15th, shameless plug. I'm a recording artist myself. If you told me right now that I had to write a song in the next 4 days, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Or would it come out as good as if you were to take your own time?
Yeah. If you give me 2, sure, okay. Sure, I may procrastinate on it
Mm-hmm.
if you give me that long,
Mm.
but guaranteed when I finish it, it will be the best thing you've probably ever seen. You know, like the chorus will be catchy, everything will be flat out good, pronunciation, enunciation, flow, everything. That's all going to be good. And there's this. That's why I think YouTube and SoundCloud and all these internet creators platforms have taken off, because there's that authenticity of just being like, that's the guy who wrote it, and that's the guy who's presenting it. But at the same time, being an actor is an art,
Very
and
true.
acting is an art. Drama is part of arts, right?
Very true. Yeah. Very true.
And I think I don't know if it's just movies that are doing this. I don't know if it's just TVs that are doing this. But I feel like now the casting is just different. I think the amount of risks that these people are willing to take is different. They don't want to put a single ugly looking character just because of the fact that no one's going to watch it. They
That's true.
want that Will Smith in that movie. Did you see the Netflix movie?
The Bright that's coming out.
Yeah.
Bright. I've seen the trailers. I actually haven't seen it. Though.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that got huge critical acclaim, like bad critical acclaim. Like, people hated it. And there's this huge conspiracy theory with Hollywood and Netflix, and they're saying that Hollywood found a way to mess up Bright, because if a blockbuster movie skipped the theaters, then Hollywood is dead. Because that is a Netflix original. Imagine if that was a blockbuster. Would we even go to cinemas anymore if Netflix can do it?
That's true. That's true.
And Netflix absolutely killed Hollywood's TV shows by now. You know, Stranger Things, Black Mirror, Series of Unfortunate Events. All these are just Netflix. Like, Netflix is making these. I don't know if you saw Ultimate Beastmaster. It's awesome. It's like for those of you guys that don't know, as well as Claude, Ultimate
Wow.
Beast, Ultimate Beastmaster. You know American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
that world version. So now they have
wow.
people from China, India, everything. I'm not getting paid to say this. So like, actually,
sponsor.
Netflix, if you want a sponsorship or any sponsors,
Hit us up.
hit me
quick
up.
Times.
Hit me up. I need
Wow.
money.
I see how it is.
What?
Hit you
I
up
need-
alone a lot.
No. Okay, hit us up at Artist Block Pod.
I see
And
how
then
I see how the tables have turned. Okay.
Okay, we haven't signed any contract, all right?
Don't worry, we will soon. And I think that's another problem too. I think contracts are like expiring and whatnot, and so they're just trying to write on these people for how long. Like Robert Downey Jr., he's soon gonna have to leave. He's either gonna die in the Avenger Infinity War or the next one.
Dude, if he dies in that, I'm gonna
And
stop watching movies.
that, or they're good, especially when your contract is nearly up. They have to make a decision. Do they want to keep you or do they want to sign you again? Do
Yeah,
they want to
that's
pay
crazy.
you billions of dollars just to be in it for a little bit? Like, or do they actually need you?
Yeah.
Because
And
when
that's
the
why I think-
contracts end, most times writers would find a way just to write them out. Find a way,
Yeah.
okay, he died in a car crash. Oh well.
I mean, that's yeah, that was like, I think there's a huge issue, and that's why all these movies that we consider to be terrible, they are blaming it on other people than the executive producers and the executives at all of these respective companies. I don't think any of these movies should be blamed on Robert Downey Jr. because those are the lines that someone gave to him. I think Robert
Agreed.
Downey Jr. is an amazing actor. I love the Iron Man that
Agreed.
he plays. And I mean, even if you look at Tobey Maguire, I personally liked Andrew Garfield. And I don't know why. I think he just resonated with my style or something.
Yeah, I think
you
it's
know?
his quirkiness.
It's
you know?
quirky, like the guy with the skateboard who has like he's a photographer and all that kind of stuff. I liked Andrew Garfield, and the fact that guaranteed at Marvel before they they were talking about all that talks, whether he left or got fired or whatever, they had to have a talk on, is Andrew Garfield the best Spider-Man, and if we were to take him out, how annoyed would the public get? Imagine if you took out Robert Downey Jr.
That's
From Iron
game.
I can't even think of another actor. But I mean, of course, there's got to be someone else, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously
They'll
different-
find one, even if it doesn't fit. They'll just here. We need you for this movie. You can come on down. Sometimes I don't think they take the time that is needed to find the right actors. Like, what's his name from Homecoming? Quickly time.
I don't know his name. Oh, let's search that.
Don't worry. No, I got it.
Spider-Man.
No,
Homecoming.
I got it. Don't
You
worry.
guys are gonna hear like typing this. Spider-Man Homecoming actor.
I think
Tom
it's-
Holland.
Yes, they took the Tom looks like he could be he's comic book accurate. He looks like a Peter Parker. He sounds like a Peter Parker.
Yeah, dude,
He's
this guy
what you would
actually does.
envision for a Peter Parker. You know what I mean? If they took the time and did that for like every movie, it wouldn't be as bad as some of these ones that didn't really take their time to find the proper casting.
Yeah. What is your opinion on? Okay, so they were actually thinking about it. I didn't think they were gonna end up going through with it.
Mm-hmm.
What if Donald Glover was Spider-Man?
I wouldn't mind because apparently Miles Morales was based off of him.
That's what I'm so.
And that's
Where
why-
is he at? That's the issue that I have with all these movies. I see the comics. I'm reading these comics, and I'm saying, where is the movie for this? Because I want to see it.
Yeah, but if they bring in Miles, Peter has to die. Unless they do that event in the comics, it was called Spider-Man, where Peter's Earth is Earth 114
I
or
read that
something
one.
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And Miles is Prime Earth, I think they call it. And they found a way to bring them in the same one because of a crisis, and then he just started to live there. Then it would work. But as soon as you hear Miles Morales, you think, "Oh, Peter's dead."
Marvel Raiders, are you hearing this? This is your next movie.
They would like me personally. As soon as I hear Miles Morales, I'm like, "Oh, that's it for Peter. I guess he's off." But I want to see Miles, you know. And the reference that Donald Glover gave in Homecoming was like the biggest thing, since everyone knows Miles was based off him, and if he's his uncle, apparently,
Yeah.
you know he's coming. He's coming
Exactly.
there.
And
But
it's like,
they would need to find a way to keep both, because some people will be heartbroken to see Peter gone. Some people will be happy, like you said, you want to see Miles in the movies. That works, but how would majority feel about that? That's what it comes down to.
yeah. Anyway, that's going to conclude our podcast for today. Again, if you want to either request a topic or if you want to come up here, make sure to hit us up on Twitter at artistblockpod and our email at artistblockpod@gmail.com. Claude, where can they find you?
You can add me, selfless plug, on we have at Ninja Claudio on Instagram. And yeah, I don't really use Twitter, so there's no point of giving that out.
Or you can hit me up on Instagram at imaad.jm or on Twitter at imaadjm. Or just, Google me and maybe I'll be there. I might be famous. All right, see you next time.
Signing